What's going on, family, and welcome back to Is Rock's Movie Reviews. And today we're going to be discussing a very, very important topic, and it has to do with pharmaceutical drugs. This is a short background, my background. The last 13, 14 years I've worked in the pharmacy industry. I was a pharmacy technician for a very long time, worked with independent pharmacies, chain store pharmacies, and just recently with a big pharmacy corporation where I was an assistant manager. And man, this is not to knock all pharmaceutical companies, but most are greedy. You know, they're malicious, and at the end of the day, they just want to monetize on poor neighborhoods and want to pour in more drugs so that we could be addicted, get addicted, and continue to purchase these drugs, whether legally or illegally. And I say that to say this. We're going to be reviewing a show that I just saw on Hulu. It's basically a 8-part miniseries, and it introduces the Sackler family, which is known for their misuse of their drug OxyContin. And we're going to go over it. The series was amazing to see. It's very informative, and it's eye-drawing, man. It's eye-popping. It's something you definitely got to see if you have loved ones that you know that can easily maybe be addicted to not only controlled drugs, but even just regular drugs and recreational drugs as well. This stars, man, an ensemble cast. You have Peter Sarsgaard. You have Michael Keaton, who plays such a phenomenal role. Rosario, Dawson, and the list goes on. But this is a must-watch. I recommend this fully, and it's called Dopesick, and it's on Hulu right now. You know, definitely go watch it. I'll give you a background story. This addictive 8-part miniseries introduces the greedy, scheming Sackler family who own Purdue Pharmaceuticals, and they made billions of dollars through malicious, manipulative advertisements, criminal misbranding of the opioid, OxyContin. Sales skyrocketed as theft, child abandonment, dependency on these drugs, and death rapidly increased. Meanwhile, the Sacklers kept lying about safety of the time release system, pushing their sales team to sell via false claims that less than 1% get addicted. It's bullshit, you know? Me working in a pharmacy, I saw people who would be on these pills and would literally empty them out on the counter to make sure I gave them the proper pills. It was really sad to see. And naturally, they blame these victims as being drug addicts, the fault of the user, not the drug. It's not our fault, right? Big Pharma. Participants were deceived into participating in the introduction of these sales. I Got My Life Back, which was made for a PSA for pain. And mind you, in these commercials, you can look them up to this day, they never mentioned the actual drug, which is misleading. Participants were not only deceived, but some were even paid. Several participants towards the beginning of this documentary became addicts or died due to Oxy, and that started to get the attention of certain people. Following the lead of Valium, that became their bestseller to date because of a medical condition was created. And it was called, they made up their own term, which was psychic tension. And Purdue created the concepts, pain is the 5th vital sign, and breakthrough pain, which supposedly happens if people contain a certain amount of pain within the 12-hour window that Oxy was sold to. And this justified the company to sell increasing doses up to eventually 160 milligrams, which is uncalled for. If you was to see anybody, if you know anybody on that drug, you see what it turns them into. It's ungodly. They created the smiley, the sad face pain chart via Partners Against Pain in order to sell, continue to sell. Money was the only thing on their mind. If you ever went to the doctors and you see there's a chart and they ask you, look at these 10 faces, where are you, right? They just want to see where your pain is at. This company created that. The creation of checkbox pathologies, which remind me of the DSM created to sell psych drugs that often boxes healthy people into fake manufactured diagnosis. When doctors objected to Purdue Pharma rep by saying, "I will never prescribe a pill for moderate pain," the reps countered with propaganda. Delayed absorption, as provided by OxyContin tablets, is believed to reduce the abuse liability of a drug. They showed manipulated studies. Their campaign began by selling to the labor force in West Virginia, to coal mines, who often suffer pain and injury, and these people are in small towns. So they knew eventually he was going to get out, because these people do physical, hard labor jobs. And in the documentary, there's a scene that's basically this girl that's works in the miner. She's like the only girl that works in the miner, and it's a family thing. She ends up hurting her back. It's addicted immediately, to the point where she goes to rehab and just can't do it, and over years, whenever she couldn't even get the pill, she started injecting. So that's what this basically is. It's heroin in pill form. Very dangerous, and the FDA under Reagan had only 39 employees responsible for 39,000 promotional items. Curtis Wright, the guy who approved the label saying Oxy is less addictive than other narcotics, ended up as an executive at Purdue Pharma. Tell me money doesn't talk. Fucking talks. Imagine that. It was just a revolving door at this time. Drug companies are supposed to be honest, right? For the most part. So how did people leave the government and go to work for this company for 5 times the money that they would originally make? For the people they have been regulating, what a mystery, right? And it continues to be a mystery to this day. The cool part about the miniseries, in my opinion, was the acting. Along comes a DEA agent and a team of Department of Health investigators who worked for years to prove that Purdue is basically a cartel. That's basically what these companies are. And this series was gripping and ultimately satisfying to watch due to their fight. And me coming from this field, I saw everything that they showed in this documentary. I witnessed it firsthand. I had the experience. I've seen what it does to people. I've seen what happens to people that get prescribed to it for the first time. The head of the DOH investigative team, Rick Mountcast, who's played by Peter Sarsgaard, he knocked this out the fucking park. Such a smart guy in real life, and this is a phenomenal actor. It's satisfying to watch too, because you see him immerse himself in this role. It's not only beautifully written, but the script is just amazing. This cast was stellar. Michael Keaton, I've never seen him better than this, and that's saying a lot. I've seen Birdcage, of course, he's our Batman, and he's been in a lot of great movies, but this series was made for him. He plays the kind-hearted doctor in Appalachia who gets sucked into prescribing these oxys by Billy, a representative, zealous, sales rep, played by Will Poulter, another upcoming awesome actor. The head of the DOH investigative team comes in, and eventually he's nails it, and his partner also, who's played by John Hugennaker. Caitlin Dever is compelling as a young miner who gets injured and becomes addicted. That was the young lady I was talking about a little earlier. And she struggles with coming out, not only with the injury, but with other things. She comes from a very religious family, and she wants to come out as a lesbian, but they're very judgmental. And the community is very judgmental, so it's very hard for her. Rosario Dawson hits the right notes as the steadfast DEA agent that's trying to uncover all this. Michael Stuhlbarg was perfectly creepy as Richard Sackler. He is delight to see. Like you don't really root for him because he's playing the protagonist in this, but the antagonist. I'm sorry, but he's flat out amazing. This is a very moving and important series. It's flat out perfect in my opinion. Everybody should watch. If you have a grandma, if you have a father, a grandfather, great-grandparents, if you have a young adults, if you're a young parent, this is something you must see now because this epidemic when it comes to drugs, OxyContin and stuff like that is nationwide. And this is a true story. You know, it's a masterclass in its entirety if you think about it. You know, the opioid epidemic has swept our country like a fucking tsunami. And it's obviously not going to take one person, but it's going to take a nation to really put this to ease. So I recommend this series very highly. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. To the next one. If you like this video, continue to hit that like button. Hit that notification bell. And if you want to see more videos coming to you at a steadfast pace, subscribe.